Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk about my most anticipated books for 2024. And this year I'm doing it a little bit different. I'm kind of going off of what other people have been doing and doing it each quarter this year. So this is going to be quarter one, which includes January, February, and March book releases. And I will have my want to read shelf linked in the description box of this video because I have all of the books on this shelf and ones that I'm anticipating other months of the year as well. So I have my iPad here with all of the books and I'm going to be looking down to kind of tell you about all of the books. But I'm going to go in publication order or expected publication order. Starting in January, I have about 20 books total that I'm going to be talking about today. For January, I have 5 different book releases starting on the 9th. I am really looking forward to Rachel Hawkins' new book, The Heiress. I think I've read all of this author's works. I would have to double check that, but I think I have, and I've actually heard based on early reviews that this one is really, really good because I have been feeling kind of mid with her last couple of releases, but I'm hoping that this one turns everything around. This is a thriller about the wealthiest woman in North Carolina and her heir and the cutthroat battle for her estate. So sounds like it would be good. I'm wondering if it's going to be picked up by Book of the Month. All right, next up on the 16th, The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I was lucky enough to get an ARC copy of this, and I do hope to read it in January. I really liked The Silent Patient. I kind of felt mid about The Maidens. So I really hope that this one works out for me. It is short. It's under 300 pages. And it does have an "and then there were none" vibe. So I'm excited. Also on the 16th, Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham releases. And this is another author that I'm definitely trying to keep up with their books. I've read their 2 previous, enjoyed both, and this is their 3rd. And it sounds really interesting. This one is through Lucy's friendship. Margot is finally coming out of her shell and meeting new friends on campus. The duo have become best friends, but by the middle of Margot's sophomore year, their neighbor who lives in a frat house next door is found brutally murdered and Lucy is missing. On the 23rd, No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall releases, and I already have a copy. I got my copy early from Book of the Month. I will put my Book of the Month link down in the description box for you. Sometimes you can get early book releases. You get brand new hardcover releases for the cheapest price available, and I do have a code that gets you your first book/box for pretty cheap. So that's always linked down below if you're interested. And also throughout the year, I will be popping in each month letting you know which books they picked and that you can choose from. But No One Can Know, it's about 3 sisters, 2 murders, and too many secrets to count. Emma has never told anyone what she saw the night that her parents died, even when she became the prime suspect, but her presence in the house threatens to uncover secrets that have stayed hidden for years, and the sisters are drawn together once again. So if you like sister stories, this one will be right up your alley. And then finally in January on the 23rd also is The Clinic by Kate Quinn. And I don't think I've read anything by this author before, but this is a thriller set in a remote rehab clinic in the Pacific Northwest coast, in which the death of a woman inside prompts her sister to enter the clinic as a patient in order to find the truth. And this is kind of giving me the Lost Girls of Willowbrook in a way, because that was a similar story, but that was also a little bit historical. And this one seems more recent. I don't know. Anyway, those are my January releases. Let's go ahead and move on to February. I'm not really sure about this first one, but on my birthday, February 13th, there's a couple of books that come out. The first one is The Stranger in the House by John Marrs. And this author is really hit or miss for me. I read and loved the one, but since then, nothing has really worked perfectly for me. So I'm hoping that this one is a winner. I think I read the one with the cars. I can't really think about it, but the self-driving cars. I read that, The Passengers. I've read that one. I tried another one, the one where the mother-in-law is upstairs. I tried that one and DNF'd it. And then I had another one, The Good Samaritan, and I didn't even try that one. So anyway, I'm really hoping that this one works. It's a stranger who infiltrates a family and he's taking over. So Paul's just there to help, or so he claims, sent by a charity for vulnerable people to do odd jobs for elderly widow Gwen. What? But Gwen's daughter Connie thinks that there's just something about Paul that rings alarm bells for her starting on day number 1. So Connie is totally wigged out from the very beginning, but Gwen needs like someone to help. But I'm sure with it being a John Mars book, something sinister is afoot. Also on the 13th, The Catch by Amy Lee. This is the 3rd book in the Influencer series. I read the first 2 books last year during X's and O's readathon, and that readathon may or may not be coming back very, very soon, so keep your eyes peeled. But in this one, in a bold attempt to mend family fences, Mel agrees to fake their engagement for 1 week in exchange for Evan's help with her social media content. So fake dating trope, love that. Amid long hikes and campfire chats, reeling in their budding feelings for each other proves more difficult by the day. So I love like the outdoor theme. I love fake dating. And I really think these are just like fun. And also I love the inclusion of the social media, especially because I'm on social media. All right, moving on to February 20th, The Guest by B.A. Paris. So Behind Closed Doors is the first book I ever read by that author, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my all-time favorite thrillers, and since then, I've just been kind of let down. I think I read like 2 other books by them, and I really didn't like them. And then I've skipped a couple of books because I was just kind of turned off, but I'm hoping this is the one that reels me back in and wows me. I want to check back in with the author, see if I'm still a fan or not. So in this one, Lori has walked out on her husband and their good friend Pierre over his confession of an affair and a secret child. Iris and Gabrielle want to be supportive of their friends, but as Laurel's mood becomes increasingly unpredictable, her presence takes its toll. That really doesn't tell me like too much, but I figured I just want to give it a go and see if I enjoy another book by this author. This next one may be a little bit controversial. I've heard some controversial things about the author, and I haven't done enough of my own personal research, but I'm talking about End of Story by A.J. Finn. This is a chilling invitation from Sebastian Trapp, renowned mystery novelist, to his longtime correspondent Nikki Hunter, an expert in detective fiction. Welcomed into his lavish San Francisco mansion, Nikki begins to unravel Trapp's life story under the watchful eyes of his enigmatic wife and plainspoke's daughter. So it sounds interesting. It has early mixed reviews, so I'll actually see if I get to it. But just in case you were interested, I wanted to put that one on your radar. 2 more for February. Also on the 20th, A Step Past Darkness by Vera Kurian. I've never read anything by this author before, but this is a young adult thriller, and it starts in the summer of 1995, and it kicks off with a party in the mine where 6 high schoolers witness a horrifying crime that changes the course of their lives. So it's kind of giving The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda in a way. When they realize that they can't trust anyone but each other, they begin to investigate what happened on their own. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about it because I don't read much young adult anymore, but there are a few that are on my radar this year. So maybe this is my return to YA a little bit, you know? The next one is also a YA book, and it's Tender Beasts by Lucille Sambury. This one comes out on February 27th, and I am so excited to read this one. I read Delicious Monsters because of this book. I saw the cover reveal for this book, and I was like, wow, I need to read something by this author, so I'm ready for this. And I read Delicious Monsters, loved it, did a dedicated reading vlog for it, and now I'm ready to dive into this one. The covers are to die for, 10 out of 10. In this one, a private school is rocked by a gruesome murder. A teen tries to find the real killer and clear her brother's name in a psychological thriller perfect for fans of The Taking of Jake Livingston and Ace of Spades. That's what the blurb says, but I have not read either of those. Anyway, those are my most anticipated for February. So it's time to move on to March. And I feel like March is packed with books that I'm excited about. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one, which is on March 1st. My A Friend in the Dark by Samantha M. Bailey. It's under 300 pages also, so bonus points for that. This one, Eden decides to reconnect with an old college flame and gets caught up in events that turn her and her family's life upside down. Eden Miller's world is crumbling. Her husband blindsided her with the Force, and her daughter barely speaks to her. In an impulsive decision to escape her present and revisit the past, she sends a friend request to her college crush, Justin Ward. One night 23 years ago changed the course of her life. Whoo, this is gonna get spicy and I'm ready. All right, I have a lot of books that are coming out on March 5th. March 5th is a heavy hitting release day. The first one is The New Couple in 5B by Lisa Unger. I recently read Christmas Presents, which was a holiday Christmas thriller novella. And I gave it 3 stars, but I want to try a full-length novel by this author, so that's why I'm going to give this one a try. The cover is also giving me the Paris apartment, and it also kind of sounds like this. So Rosie and Chad are barely making ends meet in New York City when they receive life-changing news. Chad's late uncle has left them his luxury apartment at the historic Windermere in glamorous Murray Hill with its pre-war elegance and impeccably uniformed doormen. The building is the epitome of old New York charm. So it's kind of giving me Lock Every Door in the Paris Apartment. Those books combined, it kind of sounds like those are the vibes. All right, next up is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This is the second book in the Skyland series. And no, I have not read the first. So I need to get on that. That is on my physical TBR. So I need to read that one before this one releases. So this one follows the story of Soledad, who is married to Edward and a mother to 3 teenage daughters, as her life feels like it's falling apart when her husband is arrested for embezzlement. I heard the first book is very emotional, and I'm expecting this one to be emotional too. Also, again, total cover crush. Beautiful. Next up on the 5th is Women of Good Fortune by Sophie Wan. And this is set against the backdrop of high society wedding in Shanghai, China. And the women in Good Fortune, it's a story of 3 best friends, one of them, whom is the bride, who hatch a plan to steal all the wedding money in order to escape their unhappy lives. So I think it's going to have some great social commentary, also the friendship vibes and women empowerment and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to it. Also on the 5th, Expiration Dates by Rebecca Surley. This follows Daphne Bell, who believes the universe has a plan for her. Every time she meets a new man, she receives a slip of paper with his name and number on it, the exact amount of time they will be together. So obviously it has that magical realism element that the author is known for, and I'm really excited to give this author, I'm excited to read a new book by this author. All right, also on the 5th is Bye Baby by Carola Lovering, and this one is told in alternating perspectives, which is Lovering's signature suspenseful style. Bye Baby confronts the myriad ways friendships change and evolve over time, the lingering echoes of childhood trauma, and the impact of women's choices on their lifelong relationships. Love friendship stories. So looking forward to this. And I also love this cover. All right, next up is a nonfiction book coming out on the 5th. It is called Slow Productivity, The Lost Art of Accomplishment Without Burnout by Cal Newport. So I haven't read anything by this author before, but this one just sounded perfect for me, and I am trying to continue reading nonfiction in 2024. So it says, from the aggressive rethinking of workload management to introducing seasonal variation to shifting your performance towards long-term quality, Slow Productivity provides a roadmap for escaping overload and arriving instead at a more timeless approach to pursuing meaningful accomplishment. So I definitely, now that I work for myself and I don't have a traditional 9 to 5 that I can go to my job, turn that part of my brain off and then come home and disconnect from work. Now that I work for myself, I do find myself overloaded because I'm always working. I'm 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm always working, I'm always creating, I'm always doing something. So I think this one is going to be really important for me in 2024. Okay, also on the 5th is Murder Road by Simone St. James, and I'm actually going to be buddy reading this with Elise from A Virgo Rising Reads. We're going to be reading this and discussing it on my podcast, Talk Bookish to Me, which is linked in the description box, and that discussion is in April, but the book comes out on the 5th of March. I have read several books by Simone St. James, so I'm excited to read this new one. It's about a young couple that finds themselves haunted by a string of gruesome murders committed along an old deserted road. On the 19th, the only sci-fi that has made my list so far is 𝒎𝒏𝒂𝒏 by Sierra Greer. And in this one, 𝒎𝒏𝒂𝒏 was designed to be Doug's perfect girlfriend. She is a robot built to learn Doug's needs and obey his commands. She was created to satisfy him both emotionally and physically. Doug decides to treat Annie as if she is human and teaches her how to interact with the world and think for herself. Also the pink cover, Chef's Kiss. Also on the 19th, When Sleeping Girls Lie. This is a YA contemporary mystery where a girl new to boarding school discovers dark secrets and cover-ups after her roommate disappears. Love dark academia. Got a plane going overhead. And last but not least, on the 26th of March, The Trail of Lost Hearts by 𝒑𝒐𝒅𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒔. So I've read a few books by this author now, and the only one I have really liked is On the Island and the companion novella to that, which I don't remember the name of, but it's an age gap romance. Really liked that. But The Trail of Lost Hearts by 𝒑𝒐𝒅𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒔 has some things in it that I personally do. Have you ever been geocaching? I love geocaching. It's so much fun. It's like you go out in the world and there's like treasures hidden that you have to find. Anyway, my mom and dad do geocaching. Me and Daniel do geocaching. And this also has geocaching in it. But I also think it's going to be an emotional possible romance. I'm not sure how heavy on the romance it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a contemporary story with romance elements, if I had to guess based on the synopsis. Okay. 34-year-old Ren Waters believes that if you pay attention, the universe will send you exactly what you need. But her worldview shatters when the universe delivers two life-altering blows she didn't see coming. All she wants to do is put the whole heartbreaking mess behind her. No one is more surprised than Ren when she discovers that geocaching, the outdoor activity of using GPS to look for hidden objects, is the only thing getting her out of bed and out of her head. She decides that a week-long solo quest geocaching in Oregon is exactly what she needs to take back control of her life. I'm very curious if 𒒑𝒐𝒅𝒏𝒄𝒂𝒔 actually uses real geocaching elements and maybe locations in the book. Anyway, enter Marshall Hendricks, a psychologist searching for distraction as he struggles with a life-altering blow of his own. Though Ren initially rebuffs Marshall's attempts at hiker small talk, she's beyond grateful when he rescues her from a horrifying encounter further down the trail. In the interest of safety, Marshall suggests partnering up to look for additional caches. Ren's no longer quite so trusting of the universe or men in general, but her inner circle might argue that a smart, charismatic psychologist isn't the worst thing the universe could place in her path. What begins as a platonic road trip gradually blossoms into something deeper, and the more Ren learns about Marshall, the more she wants to know. Now, all she can do is hope that the universe gets it right this time. So, those are the 22 books that I'm really looking forward to in January, February, and March of 2024. Let me know if I missed anything. If there's a book that's on your radar that you think I would like that I somehow missed, let me know because it's highly possible. Like I said, I do have a list of like other books coming out this year, so I will have this shelf linked down below, and you can catch me back maybe towards the end of March, early April to talk about the next quarter's releases. But that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye, friends.